Sorry, this is tough to say. It's really like a raw moment during this time. Mania doesn't tap you on the shoulder. It takes you. It hijacks your voice, your faith, your sense of reality, and simply smiles as you burn any bit of your life you swore you had left. In my first manic episode, it felt holy, but it was absolutely hell disguised as a blessing. A few years into my diagnosis, I was already drowning, numb, heavy, living in survival mode because that's what life had become by that point. I wasn't taking my medications as prescribed, but instead I was drinking, smoking, absolutely spiraling, and still carrying the burden of shame that high school left. A weight that I never gave God the chance to heal. And then what seemed like overnight, I flipped to the other extreme. It didn't feel like danger. It actually felt destined. There was no sleep and no food that was needed during this time, and absolutely just energy pouring out of me. I had these ideas, visions, I felt these signs, confirmations. I thought God was downloading messages straight into my soul. It was loud, chaotic, even felt electric, but God wasn't speaking to me. Mania was impersonating him, and I believed every word. Everyone around me saw it before I did, but I finally checked myself into a crisis center, and the next thing that I remember is leaving. I left barefoot in a hospital gown, completely paranoid, just wandering about in the night like a lost soul. No shoes, no plan, no reality. I vanished for 3 days. My family ended up filing a missing person report, and I was on the news because of it. While my brother, my dad drove around the west side searching for me, I was oddly hiding in strangers' backyards, just shaking, completely paranoid, unsure where to go by that point. Police eventually found me and pink slipped me, thank God. But the spiral wasn't over. They ended up moving me to a halfway house, and we had curfews. They provided bus passes, and we even had structure. But mania doesn't respect structure. It 100% devours it. And one night I was riding the bus back from downtown, just praying with my eyes closed, feeling connected to something that wasn't him. I opened my eyes, just realizing that I completely missed my stop. Panic hit instantly because curfew was at 10 and it was past that by this point. So I ran back to the house, and it was already dark inside and the door was locked. I tried knocking on the door, but there was no answer. So I walked away. All my belongings were inside, and I had no plan, no path forward at this point. And just like that, I had nowhere to sleep that night. That night, I ran into a kid I had met while downtown earlier, and most of it is kind of a blur, but I do remember standing on a bridge just overlooking the city and feeling like it was this ultimate God moment. It felt spiritual, it felt divine, but it wasn't God that I was witnessing. It was the height of mania, the rise before the fall. Sometime after, I ended up at a shelter in the heart of the city, and I met a group of people that lived nearby. They invited me over, and we talked about music, we smoked weed, and whatever thin grip of reality I had just slipped away completely. The next day in the shower, sorry, this is tough to say. It's really like a raw moment during this time. It just goes to show how far mania can really take you. So the next day I took a shower, and I just stared at this green dot on this white bar of soap, just convinced that it was the world. And that was the crack. That was the break. The point of no return. While in the shower, I crawled out of their bathroom window naked, and a neighbor saw me, and police showed up, and I fought them with this manic strength that I didn't even know existed. It took multiple officers to restrain me and bring me to the hospital, but when I was there, the nurses finally medicated me, and thank God for that. Slowly, I came back, and it was like surfacing from the bottom of a black ocean. And when my eyes were closed and I had opened them, I noticed my mom just standing by my bedside, just like she always was during times like that, especially. And after that, I was pink slipped again and sent to a hospital for 8 weeks. 8 weeks I was there. I was so far gone. I didn't even know it was a hospital when I first got there. Honestly, when your mind is that fractured, even hell can feel like home. But eventually my brain began to clear and I went home to a new nightmare. When I got back to my house, I tried flipping on the switch and nothing. My dad just ended up walking down the hallway and said, well, the electricity's off, and told me that the house was being foreclosed on. My parents were divorcing at this time, and my mom and my sister already moved out. My brother was older and he was living on his own by this point too. So now my childhood home was gone. My family broken. My sanity was honestly barely there. So that night I drank because the bottle felt easier. It felt like the easy, reliable choice in that moment. By this point, my reputation was ruined. My job, no longer. People who knew me didn't want to. And yet, somehow, I didn't die. I wasn't trafficked, kidnapped, assaulted, wasn't put in jail. I wasn't lost forever. Somehow my mind was gone, but God kept my body safe. Looking back now, I see it clearly. The destruction was not punishment. It was protection, preparation, divine demolition, because what I built my life on was never strong enough to carry who God was shaping me into. His hand never left me, not once. Because even when your mind breaks, God doesn't. And there's one moment, one person from that time that changed the entire course of my life, and I'll share that in a later episode. If you've had a moment where God clearly protected you, share it below. And if you want prayer, I would love to pray over you. Share those as well. I'm Natalie Dorsey, and this is Dorsey Delivered.